Yo, BJ Gaddour with the Daily BJ Beginner Bootcamp. Workout 1, it's all body weight. You need access also to a box, step, ottoman, or couch, or step of a staircase for your step-ups and your hands elevated push-ups. You ideally will have access to a band like this. That's a bigger band. All our equipment is at gardenofgains.com. If you don't have access to it, I'll show a modification. Here we go. In order of the flow of the movements, here's the circuit. We're gonna get like this. Put the band underneath your armpits. From there, just pull it apart, squeezing your legs together, crunching the abs, pulling the ribs and shoulders down. No motion through the spine, just really trying to strengthen the upper mid back, the rear shoulders, improve posture, and it's a great corrective exercise that you want to have in your arsenal. We'll still use this, by the way, in regular workouts, but it's a great way to start working upper mid back. That's very low stress on your spine, low back, etc. No band, here's what you can do. Either palms facing, which is easier, or palms like this, turn so you're certainly rotated. Just go like this across chest level. That nipple line is where you want to keep it, both the band and the hands. If that's too easy, then we just hinge at the hips, flat back, tabletop position. Now we use the mass of our arms against gravity. So now you're actually using resistance here to crack a nut between your shoulder blades, just like you want to do with that band pull apart whenever you have access to the equipment. But again, we use bands, you're gonna have to get them at some point. Very versatile, easy to travel with as well. Next one, hands elevated push-ups. So obviously anytime you're doing a push-up and you can't do it, you can just hold the plank position, but I want you to learn how to do this full range of motion movement to both the chest, the shoulders, the triceps. It's a staple in all of our home workouts that you can take to the gym. So here we go. You can go ottoman, couch, bench, chair. I love aerobic steps with risers because you can actually go higher to make it easier or lower to make it harder. Lots of options. You can use steps of a staircase, you can use a wall, totally up to you. The ottoman is nice as well because I can go palms facing, which is very wrist and shoulder friendly. So we're gonna get like that, block the feet together, squeeze the legs together, crunch the abs, pull the ribs, shoulders down. That hollow body position I always talk about. At the top, don't just hold it, push the shoulder blades away from each other. You're gonna lower and control, keeping the body as one unit. Come up and push. Lower and control, come up, push. Notice how the forearms are vertical and my elbows are about 30 to 45 degrees away from the trunk. That is perfect push-up position. So you wanna lock that in. If you don't have access to the elevation for whatever reason, you can do it on the knees. You're gonna lose some core activation, but again, I'm all about not being an absolutist. We gotta find ways to not make excuses, get it in when we can. That is optimal. This is also effective. You get on the knees like this, still trying to squeeze the legs together and block the feet together and maintain a good core engagement. And again, just lowering in control. Hands are about shoulder width apart. You're gonna keep also that slight flare of the hands. So the index finger kind of points out at 11 and 1. It's kind of a good position to have for your wrists. Great movement. Again, the push-up is a staple. Just because it's the push-up and we see it in the gym and physical education all these years, doesn't make it a bad movement. In fact, it's one of the best for building muscle, burning fat, and boosting metabolism. From there, hands, not hands elevated, we just did that. Side plank hold. Now, this one is not only gonna work your lateral hips, your obliques, but also the shoulders and your upper back musculature. Again, we always find ways to use bodyweight movements that can get the backside working without equipment. This is one of those. So, entry level is the short lever side plank. Fist aligned with elbow, elbow aligned with shoulder. I'm gonna think about leaning back against an imaginary wall. Come up and hold that position. This is easier because of that bent knee, short lever position. Hand can be here, and then don't just kind of push up. Think about cracking it up between those shoulder blades, and again, leaning against an imaginary wall. If that's too easy, or what we want to progress to is either stacking or scissoring the legs, and then now that long lever, true side plank is where it's at, all right? Make that fist, load that forearm, push up, and try to be like you're standing on your side. You do a full set on one side and then switch. Such a great corrective movement for shoulder, hip, core health. You'll love it. And then we go to the final movement, our single leg exercise, the step up. Now with the step up, you can add a weight vest or dumbbells to this, but I'd rather you progress via range of motion. So you can start lower step, you can build up to a higher step, and if you have access again to aerobic steps with risers, that's again another awesome one. Just like with the push-up, you make it with the step up, it's actually harder as you go higher, whereas on the push-up, it becomes harder as you go lower. So just to consider that. An ottoman is nice, make sure it's not too unstable. The big focus here is, it's a more hip dominant movement. So you are trying to get more boot hand movement. The quads are working, so it's fine for me to go a little bit forward, but we don't want to be like that or coming onto the toe. So I'm loaded up. Opposite arm leg pattern works, or you can go like this. I'm going to just get on that back toe, keep most of the weight here, push through, and then I'm going to come down and control. People usually they plop and lose all that eccentric control. That's where your glute really kicks in. So make sure, it doesn't have to be super slow, but you want to make sure you're controlling it and you're not plopping. So lower and control, back up, lower and control. Just own the movement the whole time. Again, if that's too easy, use a higher step or box. If it's too hard, you can use like a step of the staircase to make it more accessible. You do all your reps on one side and then switch. Great workout. Again, it might be for beginners, but I don't care how fit you are, how advanced you get. You're never too fit or too good for these movements. We'll just find ways to progress them, make them harder, intensify them as we go. But you're gonna start at ground zero and become a superhero over time. Peace. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for fast, fun, and effective workouts for busy parents and professionals, get a free trial to thedailybj.com today.